Hello, Cancer. Have you ever felt yourself being pushed out of your family's embrace, not because you walked away, but because an invisible force erased your name from the family's book? You are still here, still breathing, still loving, yet suddenly you have become a stranger within your very own home. And today, I want to tell you this. The days from the 22nd to the 24th ahead will not be ordinary days. They will be the final proclamation of the universe for Cancer. This is the moment when your soul separates from old bonds, not to be forgotten, but to prepare for a sacred rebirth. Leave a comment, "I am ready to be guided by the light," because that comment is not just words. It is a signal sent to the heavens, a way for the divine to recognize that you are ready to stand among the chosen souls. If you feel this touches your heart, share it, so that this light may spread, for someone out there may be waiting to be awakened by you. And you should stay until the end, because only in a few minutes, I will reveal why the universe has chosen Cancer to experience the first separation from family. Have you ever felt an invisible distance forming between you and your blood relatives? Not because of personal conflict, but because an ancient power is shifting you away from the old bloodline, bringing you back to your true position on the sacred map of the soul. Between the 22nd and the 24th, as the moon moves through Virgo and forms a trine with Saturn and Pisces, a corridor of energy will be lit. Imagine it as a bell resounding across the night sky, a signal calling the ancient souls back to their rightful place. This corridor will strip away the chains of outdated ancestors, erase limiting beliefs, and rewrite destiny upon a foundation of pure light. It is a spiritual doorway, and the Cancer souls who are called are not being abandoned but being elevated. Many have confessed to me, "I can't talk to my family the same way anymore. They don't understand me and I'm exhausted from explaining." I always reply, sometimes you are not being rejected, you are being chosen for a higher path. Not everyone is born to preserve every family bond. Some are born to bring an end to what has decayed. And Cancer, with a sensitive heart, is the necessary full stop that opens a new chapter. Difference, separation, disconnection, they are not failures. They are sacred rites, the first passport to fulfilling your mission. People often say, family is blood, family is forever. But the truth is, not every bond nourishes light. Sometimes a stranger with a single look of understanding can lift your soul higher than those of your own blood. The universe is not punishing you with this distance. It is rescuing you from a space that is no longer sacred. Have you ever sat in your own home and felt like a guest? You share what is sacred in your heart, yet receive only silence or denial. Do not be quick to call it injustice. It may be the very invitation. For a soul that is called is often misunderstood first, right at the place where it was born. With the moon in Virgo, your emotions long to be acknowledged, to have a place. But as it aligns with Saturn and Pisces, you are given a new channel of communion, no longer blood family, but soul family. A community where you are heard, seen, and called by your true name. And this is when Saturn, planet of discipline and maturity, becomes the stern teacher. Before you can speak the sacred message, you must leave the house that taught you silence. Like the hard shell of Cancer, if you do not dare to break it, you will never reach the wide ocean. I recall a story. Someone once told me that whenever they shared their intuition, their family brushed it aside, calling it imagination. Over time, they chose silence. But that very silence became the seed of a turning point. For when you no longer need others to understand you, you finally begin to live true to the voice within. If you have ever been misunderstood, ever had your light extinguished, write this down. I am no longer afraid of being different. Then take a deep breath, place your hand over your heart, and read it again. In doing so, you cloak yourself in a shield of light, raising your soul to a higher frequency, where the universe sees you most clearly. In today's world, many are bound by the belief that family is forever. But sometimes, forever is the very curse that stops you from growing. The truth is, you came to your family to learn. But if your energy has outgrown the old pattern, leaving is not betrayal, it is a step into a higher level. Do not let loyalty become spiritual chains. Dear Cancer, do you know the feeling of being set apart? When you fall silent because each time you speak the truth, the air grows heavy. When you love in a different rhythm, they call it rebellion. When you live authentically, they want you to keep living by their memories. And one day you realize you are left with only a dream no one shares. But listen, it is often in that lonely moment that the sacred call rings clearest. I believe the most painful separations often stand right before the most powerful summons. Divine timing does not require a crowd. It requires you in the right place at the right frequency to fulfill a greater role in this world. Sometimes, every new beginning starts with your name being crossed out from an old list, and do not mistake being excluded for being chosen. You are not abandoned, you are called. If your heart beats faster as you hear this, right? I am ready to step out of the darkness of the past to live in the light placed within me. That sentence is not just words, it is a vow of the soul. Between the 22nd and the 24th, an energy corridor opens, a resonance between personal emotions and ancestral patterns, drawing old wounds to the surface while bringing the chance to be cleansed. This is not merely personal. It is destiny's audit, repeating behaviors, unspoken pains now being named so they can be healed. There are wounds not born in you but living in you. Each breath, each hesitant choice may carry an ancient memory, a belief passed down, a vow never spoken aloud. Cancer, you are sensitive not only for this time, but for the ashes of many generations. And when a planet of transformation touches the root of your identity, the question surpasses money or appearance. It reaches the core, your value, and your lineage's story. What does this mean in practice? First of all, understand the roots of your emotions. Write down 3 recurring family memories, the words, the behaviors, the prejudices, then ask, who planted the seed of this? It is a simple yet powerful technique. Write them down to transform them, find a neutral person to confide in, set small daily boundaries. These are practical acts of self-healing, not just ideas. I have met many people who apologized on behalf of their whole family without knowing why. They told me that when they kept silent, the old cycle continued to repeat. Do you see yourself in that? If you are the first to dare to say no when the group remains silent, if you choose light in the middle of a forest of habits, then perhaps you are not the problem, you are the pioneer. It is a lonely yet sacred role, to release a current of energy so that future generations no longer bear the same burden. Pluto, the symbol of deep transformation, does not ask permission when the time comes. It strips away masks, exposing every inherited script. When it touches the foundation of your identity, what happens is purification. Who stays for true love, who stays only for programmed habit. The lesson is very real. The wound is not weakness, it is the entryway. It is the door that leads you back to the truest version of yourself. Practice this exercise. Each time a painful memory appears, ask, is this mine? If not, exhale and release it. This small act, repeated each day, will reshape your nervous system, moving you from complaint and reaction toward conscious choice. It is a psychological strategy woven into the philosophy of the soul, transforming history through present awareness. Are you afraid that doing this is betrayal? It is not. Leaving behind an old energy system once you have outgrown it is not betrayal, it is maturity. Loyalty must not become a chain of the spirit. Family gives us lessons, but if the framework imprisons growth, you have the right to step into a new circle, where you are seen, nourished, and allowed to flourish. Some will understand and some will not. Some will remain out of need, not love, and you will see the difference clearly. That is the test. Only those who dare to step through the new doorway will receive the blessing of change. You are not alone, you are being guided. If this part touches you, leave a comment. I accept the responsibility of ancestral healing, I am ready. It is not just a sentence, it is a commitment in action. And if you wish, in the next part I will show 3 practical steps, psychological techniques and small rituals, to repay your ancestors with awareness, not guilt, recognizing patterns, setting daily boundaries, and practicing personal transformation. Finally, remember this, a wound once acknowledged ceases to be an invisible weight. It becomes a doorway, and through that doorway you step into a space where the heart is healed, where you can teach your children to live differently, to live freer. Be prepared. Between the 22nd and the 24th, a new chapter may open, not for everyone, but only for those brave enough to step through. Do you feel it? When you choose silence because speaking truth makes others uneasy. When you love to a different rhythm and they call it rebellion. When you live authentically and they pull you back into their history, until one day you look around and find only a dream that no one shares. But believe this, That lonely moment is often when the sacred call sounds the loudest. The separations that break the heart often stand right before the greatest summons. The Creator does not need a crowd. He needs you in the right place at the right frequency to fulfill a mission far greater than you imagine. Sometimes, every new beginning starts with your name being crossed out from an old list. But do not confuse being excluded with being chosen. You are not abandoned, you are called. If your heart trembles as you read these words, write, "I am ready to release the darkness of my ancestors and choose the light for the generations to come." That sentence is not just words, it is a vow of the soul. In the coming days of the 22nd to the 24th, an energy gateway will appear. A moment when ancestral patterns rise to be seen, to be healed. This is not merely an emotional phenomenon, it is an invitation to practice, to name the wound, to recognize the pattern, and to act systematically to change it. There are pains not born in you but living in you, emotional inheritances carried across many lives. Every hesitant choice, every word you suppress may carry with it an ancient memory. Cancer, you are not only sensitive to the present, you are carrying the ashes of your ancestors. And when a wave of transformation touches the root of your identity, the game is no longer about money or status. The game is this: will you allow yourself to redefine your worth and your very being? 3 steps for practical recognition. First, write down 3 repeating family patterns, the words, the reactions, the behaviors. Second, each day spend 5 minutes asking, is this mine? If not, exhale and release it. Third, set small boundaries, an honest answer, a polite no, a respectful withdrawal. Small actions, repeated daily, rewire the nervous system, shifting you from unconscious reaction to conscious choice. This is not abstract philosophy. It is practical psychology for transforming ancestral history through present awareness. One person told me they always felt the need to apologize on behalf of their family. Another said they kept silent because of an invisible warning. If you see yourself in these stories, know this: you may be the one who begins the chain of healing, the one who dares to say no when the crowd remains silent. That role is lonely, but it is sacred. The wound is a doorway, not a stone blocking the path. When you name the pain, you do not weaken yourself. You open an entrance back to the fuller version of who you are. Try this simple 3-step practice daily. Name it, exhale, take a small action. Repeat it for 21 days and you will see change. It is a strategy that unites spirit and neuroscience, awareness recreating the biology of your being. Perhaps you fear being seen as a traitor for leaving the framework. That fear is understandable. But leaving behind an energy system that has run dry in order to step into a nourishing space is not betrayal, it is maturity. Loyalty must never become spiritual chains. Family is the place where we learn, but when the pattern restrains growth, you have the right to seek a new environment where the heart is nurtured. You will see who stays out of true love and who stays out of habit. That moment will expose the truth. Do not let that revelation frighten you, see it as a test. Only those who dare to step through the new doorway will be welcomed into the next chapter. You are not alone, you are being guided. If this passage touches you, leave a comment. I accept the responsibility of ancestral healing, I am ready. It is not just words, it is a commitment of transformation. And when you write it, the inner doorway begins to open. In the next part, I will guide you through 3 concrete practices. A 3-minute morning ritual to cleanse ancestral memory. A weekly exercise to restructure emotional boundaries. And systematic affirmations to restore your sense of worth. Each step is designed to be both ritual and psychological, simple to perform, easy to track. Remember this: a wound, once acknowledged, ceases to be an invisible burden. It becomes a doorway. And through that doorway, you step into a space where the heart is healed, where you can teach the next generation to live differently, lighter, freer, more aware. Between the 22nd and the 24th, a new chapter may open, not for everyone, but only for those who are brave enough to cross through. Finally, do not forget, you are not excluded. You are being set apart, not to be accepted, but to be activated. And the next act of the universe for you, Cancer, will show you why every loss has always been part of a greater plan. I will reveal that in the next message.